Hi, this is Brie, the Creative Minds Coach, and today I'm going to talk about 3 ways to be a confident artist. So before we get into the 3 ways, I'd like to discuss a little bit about what the difference is between confidence and self-confidence, because sometimes we make the two equal. So self-confidence it's a feeling that's like trust in ourselves to do something we've never done before. And confidence is trusting ourselves to continue to do something that we've already started. I'm sure there are other definitions, but this is mine. So confidence is also, it's a feeling that inspires us to action. That's why we want it so badly. We want to be inspired to action, to go do the things, to create art and get it done. It also comes from our thoughts. It does not come from anywhere external. No one can give it to us, and no thing can create it for us. We create it through our thinking. And the good news is it's also a skill you can learn. That is beautiful because that means we just aren't like bestowed with it. We can actually do the work to make it happen for ourselves and build it and get better at it. That's amazing news. Okay, so way number 1, find evidence. And I put this in like the self-confidence realm because, and I want to give you an example of how I did this for myself recently. So I have been thinking about creating a piece of art that I've never done before. So I had planned to make some prints. I did it, but I had planned to make some prints of some photographs and use them to tear them and make a collage. I've never done that before, and I didn't really know what it would look like. I couldn't really picture it. And I was in a little bit of self-doubt about being able to do it. So I decided to follow my own advice and look to my past to find some evidence of when 2 things. 1, did something that I've never done before, okay, and I was able to just start it and kind of be successful at it, right? And it doesn't really matter whether or not we're successful, but being able to start it and do something rather than sitting in self-doubt and never trying it, okay? So I used to do scrapbooking, and so I've done all kinds of paper tearing, and I was able to look to my past and go, oh, I've done scrapbooking before. And I was able to think about what that art was that I was going to create or possibly create and make a connection and think maybe the thing I'm doing isn't completely new. And also finding some evidence for how some things are new, but maybe it's not totally. And so I was able to bring a little bit of self-confidence to try it based on my past because I've done it before, and also some confidence because it's similar maybe to something that I've already done. And that created a feeling of confidence for me to move forward and inspire me to action. All right. But here's the important part. Remember, I said it all comes from our thoughts and not something that we do. So even if we're doing something, there's always a thought involved, some thinking. So my thought was, even if I fail, it doesn't mean anything about me or my art. I really am just trying. And look, I'm just going to try some stuff. I borrowed this one too from my friend Colette. And you can borrow any of this thinking if you want to try some of these on to see if that helps you feel more confident. You can also just try, I can do this. Or it's possible that I can do this. That is a really great one to kind of shift from impossibility into possibility. And then maybe you move to, I can do this. Or maybe you're thinking, I can do this while you're actually doing it. Okay. Way number 2 is make a decision and stand by it. So whatever your art is, you make decisions. And one thing we all have in common as artists is that we get to decide what we think about our art, and we're always doing that. So there's always a process of creating, And for me, what that looks like is making the image, getting critiqued either from someone else or my own self-critique, or maybe both. And I did actually a video about critiques, and I'll link it in the description if you want to check that out. And then also from those critiques, making any changes and making a finished piece of work. And then from there, I get to decide what that looks like. So, and not because anyone else says that they like it, I get to decide. And confidence comes from making a decision that feels right to you and then standing by it. Now, I want to give you an example of how I did this and how I used this thinking to create confidence for myself. Okay, so this image here, it's one of my favorites. I love this image. That's why I put it up here. I'll probably change them sometimes. But before I actually exhibited it to anyone, I made a decision about it and I decided that I loved it no matter what anyone else thought. I did all the work with it and I made the decision. And guess what? I stand by it no matter what anyone else thinks. I mean, I have friends that love it, so that's great, but it doesn't change my decision. And my confidence is coming from this thought. I love how this image turned out, no matter what anyone else thinks. And I stand by it. I stand by my decision to love it. Okay. And this can work for you too. You can try this one if you're a photographer, or you can insert whatever your art is here, or you can insert my art matters to me, or any other thing that creates confidence from that inspires you to make a decision and stand by it. And when you look at it, when I look at this one, I remind myself of that decision. I love how this image turned out. And in the back of my head is like, no matter what anyone else says, it is completely my choice. Okay. And one thing I do want to point out is when we do this and we make it, there's a side benefit. When we make this decision and stand by it, it doesn't then when other people have opinions about your work, it actually has less effect or zero effect on your opinion of your work because you've already decided to stand by it. So, number 3, celebrate your wins. This is huge. I love celebrating my wins. Now, I'm going to call that trying my photo collage art. That is a win for me this week. You know why? Because I decided to move forward into the realm of the unknown and try it. And so that is a win. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big or small it's going to be. Let me pause for a second. The reason why we want to celebrate is because our brain's default is to find the way we're failing. It just is. I don't know. There's science behind it, but our brain's default is to find the ways that we're failing. And we want to override that with showing our minds how we have been successful. Okay. So first step, find a win, big or small. So maybe you learned a new technique like me. Maybe I implemented something kind of successfully. Or so maybe you scheduled time for your art and you stuck to it. Maybe you sold a piece of work. Awesome. Maybe it's something even smaller than that. Okay. Maybe you just did something very small and moved an incremental step forward. And that is also amazing. Once you have found a win or more, it will get easier as you find more. Okay, but remember, we can build this confidence. So once you find even one, then you are going to celebrate. And what that looks like is play a favorite piece of music or play a new piece of music you've never heard before and enjoy it. Maybe it looks like reading a chapter, indulging yourself in reading a chapter of a book that you're reading. Maybe it looks like taking a walk or a small nap or anything else that feels splurgy to you to celebrate. And the reason why we want to do this is so that it cements this feeling. Okay, let's just pause. Celebrating feels amazing. And it feels amazing because we're thinking stuff like this. I'm an amazing artist. I am capable of selling my work. I'm doing this. I'm doing it. Okay, I'm making this happen. And then we feel amazing. We're feeling confident. And the reason we do the actual physical celebrating is it cements that feeling into our bodies. That is really important to be able to recreate it. And when we have that feeling, our minds are going to keep looking. They're going to continue to look for these successes because we want more of the good feelings. And so your brain will go after that when you have and you're creating confidence at the same time. This does so much. And so many of us look over this and it feels really splurgy, and don't skip this one. So what I want to remind you of is number one, to ways you can become or be a confident artist is number one is find some evidence in your past so you can move forward with your future. Number two, make a decision and stand by it. And it could be any decision. You don't have to be like loving your art or anything like that. It could be any decision and then stand by it. That thinking along with it creates that confidence for you. And then celebrate your wins. Oh, please do this. It's really so fun and creates so much confidence for us. And that is all I have for you today. I have been doing the work on this myself. You can see I've given you all the examples, and that's how I know how to help you do it too. And before I go, I'd like to invite you to join my creative circle and subscribe to my email list so you can access free secret subscriber only videos where I teach even more in depth. And this week, I teach you some coaching secrets. It's really exciting. So you can join by clicking the link in the description. And that's it. Go do amazing things. I'll see you next time. Bye.